Hi, Sandy Wiley. I wanted to talk about growing up with mental illness and why it's so important to get that out there because I think people are more aware now in this day and age about it, but still not enough. It's very easy to see when something is physically broken, like if someone has their arm in a sling, they have a broken arm. If someone's in a wheelchair, they can't walk. Um, but with mental illness, you know, it's very hard for people that don't know to think that there's nothing wrong with us because if they just look at you on the outside, they can say, what's wrong with her? She looks like she's great, you know? And a lot of people, especially really depressed people, even people who are suicidal, they can act like crack jokes, act happy, smiling, and, be the life of the party. And people would not necessarily believe that, there's something wrong with them. They wouldn't think that at all. In fact, that's like the last thing they would think. So that's why it's very important for me to get out this message about mental illness. Now, all growing up through my childhood, my friends were, some of them were even jealous of me because, my mother had this facade, um, like Joan Crawford. If you ever seen Mommy Dearest, you know, she'd throw elaborate, lavish parties for her daughter with merry-go-rounds and horses and everything, and everyone says, wow, how lucky. Like my mother would used to bake. She'd bake homemade pies and cakes, and so my friends would come over and see, oh, wow, the mother is a stay-at-home mom, baking, and her house is immaculate, real clean and well kept. And, so it gives like a veneer, a veneer. Like, what is a veneer? It's just an appearance, like plated gold, right? Like plated gold. It just, it looks all shiny on the outside, but no one really knows that if you just flake it, there's nothing underneath. And that's how I felt. Like my childhood or my mother was all shiny on the outside, but underneath she was a witch. And she never went to doctors or psychologists. So, from what I know, psychologically, I would say she's narcissistic. And my father was a paranoid schizophrenic, and I have borderline personality disorder. But you wouldn't know someone like that on the outside. If you're working with someone, you might think that, they got it made, Oh, that person, she dresses in designer clothes. She, has her hair all, so and so, and, she's married and has 2 point something kids in the White House and picket fence, and I'm so jealous. And you don't know what that person is suffering inside, That's why you should always treat people with respect and kindness, because you don't know what's going on inside of them. Growing up with mental illness has been very hard because I had to keep it a secret. And, I think it weighs you down when you keep things inside as secrets. That's why I go out now and put forth these videos because I want to, show people what it's like to be like this. Like, for instance, being a borderline is extremely hard because I have a deep fear of abandonment, I have very bad trust issues, and I can't regulate my emotions, okay? So to explain it to someone who isn't borderline or doesn't know much about it, it's like, I'm sure you heard like the all or nothing or the black and white. It's like I can't regulate my feelings. They're too intense. So it's either like a broken thermostat, like 110 degrees, or it's 0 degrees freezing. Like there's no in between. There's no gray area. So I hold on to hurt forever. Really, I'm only talking about myself personally. If you hurt me, I will remember it forever. I will never let it go. And that's because of my condition as a borderline. I feel like when my son was beaten up, that was a year and a half ago. I haven't let go of that. It was like it happened yesterday. It just eats away at me every day, every day, every day. Friends, that hurt me, that eats away at me. Even if what the friend did was like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, it's still, I'm up at night thinking about it. Someone else would have let it go, but I can't let things go. Things become scars on the inside of me that people can't see on the outside of me. And I get scar after scar after scar from the things that people do. I cannot let them go. Someone else would just let it go, but I can't let it go. And I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I did a video before about there was a staff member that teased my son about his snack, just like the staff member who beat my son. And I flipped out. I completely flipped out and got in a rage and called the manager, and I said, I never want that person near my son again. And I really went ballistic. I flipped out. You don't want to see me flip out. Screaming, swearing, yelling, cursing, saying I can't deal with it. Like I was having a mental breakdown, flip out. And because that person reminded me of the monster who beat my son. So, it feels like when you have that post-traumatic stress disorder, like you relive the event all over again. Even if it was 10 years ago, whatever it was, it's fresh. It's just like it happened now. And so, it's like picking out a scab. It reopens and it starts blood spilling out all over the place. That's why, it's so difficult. People don't understand. They probably figured, what is wrong with her, He was just, teasing, just a little teasing, get a life. Like, what's wrong with you? You don't know someone's past, okay? You don't. And you don't know what's someone's present, what's going on with them now. And that can affect them very deeply. It can affect them, and you don't know. Just because someone is, appearance doesn't look like there's anything wrong. You can't judge that. You can't judge by appearance. And some of the people that act the happiest and crack the jokes and are smiling the most, those are some of the people that are really inside completely broken and shattered. And they just give an illusion. It's all an illusion. It's just like when I did pornography, okay? Pornography was all an illusion. I mean, I did it myself when I did it. I got paid like $150 a week for like, I don't know. The videos were probably like, I don't know, 5 minutes the most every day. But, I would put on an act. And, these guys ate that up. These guys really thought I was turned on by that. And I wasn't. I hated it. I mean, I liked performing. Don't don't get me wrong, like I do in karaoke, you know, it's like a performance. But I did not like doing the porn. I hated it. And these guys were getting turned on thinking I was turned on. But I was turned off. It was all an act, all a show. My husband was out of work. We had no money. Nothing. It was during COVID. You couldn't get a job outside because all the stores, everything was shut down. Shut down. Everyone had to stay inside. So this was safe. I wasn't doing it with another person. It was just me, solo act, completely solo. So, you know, I was getting $150 for like doing like, I don't know, maybe between dressing up, makeup, and editing, maybe, I don't know, a half an hour work a day. You know, what's that? And I got $150 a week for that. Yeah. But I hated it. I hated getting naked. I hated doing those things. I can't tell you what I did, but I hated doing those things that I did to myself and showing them to men watching. I hated it. It was all an act. And, you know, of course, if they knew how much I loathed it, they wouldn't want to pay me. They would be turned off by that, you know. I thought they were all disgusting pigs. You want to know the truth? I thought they were all disgusting pigs. But I was doing it because I was desperate for money. I even stole. I would steal because my husband had to work. I didn't work. We have a house, right? There's bills to pay. Homeowners insurance, car insurance, electricity, oil, which is a fortune. You know, phone bills, you know, food. We had zero money and nothing in the bank. And it was during COVID when everything was locked shut tight. So, you know, I did what I had to do, basically. But what I'm trying to get at here is everyone thought, the guys that paid all that money thought that I was turned on. And they thought I was attracted to them when I thought they were all pigs. And I was, you know, completely, you know, I don't want to get graphic, but it was just a horrible experience. I will never do it again. I have people that, you know, write me emails and give me messages. Oh, when are you going to do that again? It's like, really? Block. They don't know. They have no idea by even asking me that, you know, I'm going to have nothing to do with them. Block them. But so I'm just driving home that you don't know by appearances, okay? So don't judge because you don't know. You might think you know, but you don't. And mental illness has always been such a stigma, you know? It is. Do you think other people go on the internet and say, hey guys, I'm a borderline psychotic mess. Look at me. Yeah, you don't have many people doing what I do. I'm a kleptomaniac. I used to steal. Yeah. I'm trying to, you know, bring these things out in the open to make people more aware of that they don't know people's circumstances. Like, someone would look at me and say, well, you know, she has a husband, she has her own house, backyard, a deck, you know, she's doing great, you know? They don't know. Like, if you follow the Watts case, I'm obsessed with the Watts. Christopher Watts that killed his wife and 2 children. Horrible. If you looked at his house, it was almost like a mansion compared to mine. It was humongous. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. They went on, you know, vacations all the time, trips all over. They were heavily in debt. They went bankrupt, but no one would know, right? No one would know. On Facebook, they looked like the perfect family. But he had a girlfriend, and he was plotting to kill his whole family. That's how perfect family he was. But on Facebook, they look like, wow, madly in love, rich like anything. They have like a mansion, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. The rooms were like cathedral ceilings. The rooms were so big, like it's probably like one of the rooms was like my living room, kitchen, and dining room together. Like my whole, like 3 of my rooms is probably equals 1. Yeah, and they look like the perfect couple, right? They had 2 daughters, and she was pregnant, 3 months pregnant with a boy. And they were young, in their early 30s, good looking. He was handsome and rugged, 6-pack. She was gorgeous. They had it all. On the outside, it looked like that, but they didn't have anything. They were bankrupt. They were heavily in debt. He was cheating on her. And in the end, he killed her, his wife, pregnant wife, and 2 beautiful daughters. So see, everyone that thought or was jealous of her and like, look at that, she's got it made. You don't know. You do not know. And who knew the mental illness he had? Obviously, you're not in your right mind to suffocate your daughters and throw them down oil tanks. What kind of, demented, crazed monster does these things, right? But do you think people notice that about him at work, or his friends, or his family, his parents? Do you think that they knew what was really upstairs in his head? That he was a vicious monster, a murderer that would wipe out his whole family? Looking at him, he looked great. He looked handsome, married, children, big mansion, job, the works. But people didn't know the wheels, the gears turning up here. People did not know that he was capable, of such a horrific crime. No one would have guessed. So see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Mental illness, you cannot see with the eyes. You cannot see it. So it's got to be brought out. People got to be made aware of how people suffer in private, and don't look at people, how much they have on the outside or what they're flashing at you. You don't know. You don't know how people are suffering. And, I'm sure we're all suffering. I suffer immensely. I drink every evening to press down all the pain. I have severe pain. I'm suffering from what happened to my son a year and a half ago. What happened with my psychologist taking advantage of me sexually. That's called statutory rape, what they did. And I'm suffering. And it isn't like, I come on, I do this karaoke. I have people dropping out now because I think they don't like my mental health channel anymore. So I got to add some more karaokes because it wasn't originally a karaoke channel. Yeah, they'd rather just see someone sexy, moving around, than me coming forth and telling you, no, this is how I really am. That's not sexy. That's not fun. How I really am. How I'm hurting isn't sexy and fun, is it? They would rather see me half-dressed and, dancing and swaying and singing and all that kind of crap. But I do like karaoke, I have to admit. I do like it. But I put on an act there, too, because I know what men want and how are they going to watch, They're not going to watch it. If I wear a shirt like this and I sing, they're not going to watch that. I have to wear it, cut down to I do that as a performance, to get watch time. That's what it is. It is the truth. I mean, I could easily sing with a turtleneck on, right? Couldn't I do a karaoke song with a turtleneck on? Just standing there singing, not like being seductive or coming on with hardly nothing on. I do that to get subscribers. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I love doing karaoke singing, but all the other sexy, seductive stuff, that's just an act to get men to watch. They watch, I get more watch time, more subscribers, and one of these days I get monetized. But I do enjoy talking about mental health, and I want to make people aware because I've written many, many books about it, okay? Just look up my Amazon. I've written many, many books. So, but, yeah. So that's what I have to say. Don't judge a book by its cover.